Emiliano Martinez has been branded by the French media as the most hated Argentine ever. Why is that? Well, it initially began with the antics used during the penalty shootout in the World Cup final in order to give his team a psychological advantage, to the bizarre gesture he made after being given his Golden Glove award by the Emir of Qatar in front of the whole world, to calling for a minute's silence for French superstar Kylian Mbappe in an attempt to troll him, which he would later take one step further by parading around with a doll that has Mbappe's face plastered all over it in the Champions Parade. Ever since the World Cup final, no one in the Argentine squad has been spoken about in a more negative light, quite like Emiliano Martinez. He's got the whole media on his back, several people in France, as well as ex-footballers such as Ian Wright, Patrick Vieira, Graham Souness, and so on. Martinez has managed to divide the opinions of football fans, as some view him as a psychological genius who did all he could to win the trophy for his country.
It's his character, the way he is. And he's been one of the main players for Argentina, so I love it. Well done for him.
While on the opposite side, many view him as an unprofessional cheater as well as a clown.
I mean, the thing with the Golden Glove, that was ridiculous.
What he did with the trophy afterwards was ridiculous.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Martinez has quickly made a villain out of himself when he should have been praised for his last-minute heroics and the fact that he even made it to the World Cup final despite almost quitting football a few years ago.
For this club, my goal was always be the number one.
Really difficult to get there, to get at the top. He went to England when he was really young.
I've been here for almost 10 years already. I came as a young boy. That I said to my dad that I'm gonna do it, and I won't stop until I'm the number one for Argentina.
I won a major tournament for my country.
World Cup.
So I've done that, Copa America, but my dream is to play in the World Cup. So once I do that, I'm just gonna go win it.
Emiliano Martinez was born on September 2nd, 1992 in Mar del Plata in Buenos Aires, Argentina. He was born into a poor family that could barely make ends meet, and this made for a really difficult childhood. The goalkeeper even recalled a period where he witnessed his father break down into tears at night over not being able to pay bills. During this tough period, living in a football-obsessed country such as Argentina, Dibu derived joy whenever he played football. Martinez began his football journey at Independiente, and around 2009, a scout from Arsenal discovered him, so he was flown to England for trials and was subsequently signed by the club. Martinez has stated that at first he initially didn't want to go. Of course, he was 17 years old at the time and was faced with a real possibility of making it or by leaving his family behind. For him, this was way too much, but he was later convinced by the situation his family was in, so this was kind of the only way he felt he could help them out. He initially couldn't play any matches due to not having a European passport, which relegated him to just playing in friendly matches, and after initially spending 2 years at Arsenal's academy, the Argentine was sent on his first loan spell to Oxford United. His overall time at Arsenal was far from great. He only played 38 matches in 10 years for the Gunners, along with also being sent out on multiple, sometimes futile loan spells.
He went to England when he was really young, then been on loan everywhere, playing in League 2, went to Spain, didn't play much.
He was sent out on 6 different loan spells in 7 years. Now, we all know Martinez as a goalkeeper with immense confidence, mostly due to his mind games, but around this time, Martinez was going through a confidence crisis. He even openly stated that during his several loan spells, he was faced with the very real possibility of actually quitting football due to falling out of love for the game. I don't think you prepare for not playing. I always thought I had the talent, but at some stage in my career when I was 22, 23 and I wasn't playing, I went on my first loan to Spain. I played only 6 games. Then I knew I would have to go back to Arsenal and they wouldn't give me a chance, so I would have to go on loan. So those years were really difficult. At some point I stopped loving football. That was something I was worried about. I told my wife, I know I'm not playing, but I've stopped watching football games, so it wasn't an easy place to be. Martinez has always been a confident goalkeeper, confident in his own abilities, but he just never got a proper chance. But that was until June 2020. I went on loan again to Reading in the Championship, a league which I didn't want to be in. I put myself in a position, I have a newborn baby, this is going to be my last loan. I got that in my head. I started with a psychologist that helped me through my bad moments. It helped me to get past my frustrations. Arsenal's first choice goalkeeper at the time, Bernd Leno, suffered a horrific injury against Brighton Hove Albion. Martinez was entrusted by Mikel Arteta and the rest is history. Stellar performance after stellar performance, Martinez helped Arsenal to an unlikely FA Cup triumph, recording famous victories over the likes of Manchester City and Chelsea as they went on to defy the odds and lift the cup. this was everything for Martinez. The moment he was waiting for so many years. You could see what it meant to him. Many would think that Martinez would think that this was the ceiling for him. Due to his age, he knew time was running out and would therefore decide to settle for less if he had the chance to. But Martinez is not like that. He's incredibly ambitious.
But at the end of the day, my work ethic and commitment will always be the number one for Arsenal and for the national team. That's the dream that I said to my dad that I'm going to do it, and I won't stop until I'm the number one for Argentina.
Martinez has been able to garner a lot of attention recently for his amazing use of psychology to get to the top. He's a firm believer that this is what separates the good from the best, the great from the greatest, and most importantly, the football success stories which we always hear and romanticize about, from the failure stories we almost never hear anything about. The mind controls your body. Have friends in Argentina who are players like Messi, but the mental side took them to another path. I learned over the years because I came from a poor family. Everyone thinks now everything is easy, and it's not. It's so hard to be at the top. You think you won the FA Cup, you're a successful guy even if you retire now, and I said no because I want to win the World Cups, the League, the Europa League, and that's something to work. Wenger used to say, players that get into the comfort zone are not good enough, we have to get rid of them, and it's true. Players sometimes say, we won, next season easy. That's when you get players in comfort zone, and it doesn't work like that. You always have to win more and want more. This kind of emphasized the kind of person that he is, driven, determined, ambitious, and this ambition is the reason why Martinez could do anything necessary to ensure he achieves his goals, such as playing different unpopular tricks such as mind games, intentional provocation, and so on. Also himself and his team can have that extremely desirable upper hand during matches. The world saw a taste of this back in September 2021. Martinez had completed his £20 million move from Arsenal to Aston Villa, and he began that season as one of the best goalkeepers in the league. And so in a Manchester United game against Aston Villa at Old Trafford, during a tight game with Manchester United 1-0 down, they won a penalty. Now, due to the recent arrival of Cristiano Ronaldo, it was still up for debate who was going to be Manchester United's primary penalty taker. Bruno Fernandes, who happens to be Ronaldo's compatriot, was the designated spot kick taker in the previous seasons. Now, Ronaldo, a man who was renowned for his efficiency on the spot, decided to take the back seat and let Bruno take the potential all-deciding penalty that would bring them back into the game. While Bruno was preparing to take it, Martinez was literally seen gesturing to Ronaldo behind Bruno's back that he wanted CR7 to take the spot kick. This was a tactic to remind Bruno that there is a much better player behind him, which then compounded the pressure on the Portuguese as if the magnitude of the occasion wasn't enough already, and unsurprisingly, with so much pressure on his shoulders, this happened. Villa got what they wanted, and this became a literal skill in Martinez's arsenal. His mind games worked this time, and as time went on, the Argentine goalkeeper took it to another level every single time. The second major incident came during the 2021 Copa America in Argentina's semi-final against Colombia. At this point, Martinez was already an established goalkeeper, and his performances with a mid-table Aston Villa side ensured he got called up to the Argentine squad. Himself and Argentina went on to put on a fine showing in the tournament, but the semi-final against Colombia was where Martinez did it again. During a tightly contested clash which had everyone watching at the edge of their seats, the match went into a penalty shootout. During the shootout, Martinez would be seen trash-talking the Colombian players who were stepping up to take their spot kicks in an attempt to try to destabilize them mentally, and well, it worked. With statements like, "You're laughing, but you're nervous, hey, the ball is ahead of the penalty mark, yeah, turn a blind eye, I already know you, I know where you'll shoot and then save it. I'm eating you up, brother," which is what he told Colombia's Yerry Mina. There was no surprise that Argentina came out on top in the shootout, with Martinez saving 3 out of Colombia's 5 penalties, with 2 of those saves happening literally after trash-talking the taker. With everything going up for Martinez, entered the 2022 FIFA World Cup, the biggest stage in world football and the tournament that immortalizes players. With Argentina as favorites already going into the World Cup largely due to their captain and star man Lionel Messi, the pressure to perform was not only just on the shoulders of Messi alone, as the entire squad made sure to share the burden, and this led to one of the toughest and roughest football clashes you could ever see when the Albiceleste of Argentina met La Oranje of Netherlands. The clash was known for both the good and the bad side of football. Argentina were cruising with a 2-0 lead, and in pure 2022 FIFA World Cup fashion, the Netherlands pulled up an absolute shocker in normal time by equalizing, thereby sending the game into extra time and then to penalties. This match had a total of 17 yellow cards and 1 red card. Martinez stated that prior to the shootout, he heard the Netherlands boss Louis van Gaal that if the match went into penalties, they would win, and Martinez took this personally.
Did you have it all planned out? I heard Van Gaal saying we got an advantage in penalties. If we go to penalties, we win. I think he needs to keep his mouth shut.
He went on to save the spot kicks of both Virgil van Dijk and Steven Berghuis as Argentina cemented their place in the final. During the absolute chaos which was the World Cup final, Emiliano Martinez managed to immortalize himself in football history. During a final which saw both Messi and Mbappe tear the roof down in an incredibly compelling 3-3 masterclass from both sides, Emiliano Martinez was the man who ensured that Argentina became world champions when he pulled off what was undoubtedly the most important save in his career in the 120th minute to keep the score leveled, and also achieved a similar feat in terms of the magnitude of the occasion in the subsequent penalty shootout. A psychologist who goes by the name Geir Jordet gave a well-detailed step-by-step analysis on the psychological techniques the Argentine used during the match. The first started with him waiting in goal for Lloris to arrive after the usual coin toss before the shootout and proceeded to shake his hands as if he was welcoming him. Well, nothing mischievous here. That was until it was time for Martinez to make a save. Who better to start off the shootout than the man who already put the ball behind him 3 times during the match, 2 from the spot, Kylian Mbappe. Martinez, recognizing that Mbappe had nerves of steel and couldn't easily be toppled psychologically, didn't try to pull off anything too crazy. Up stepped Mbappe and he dispatched his penalty, but not without Martinez just having his hand on it before it went in. Next was Kingsley Coman. Martinez interrupted the process yet again as he made the referee have a look at the ball for the second time, which he surprisingly did. Now, when players are under pressure and trying to focus on taking their penalties, interrupting or elongating the process is bound to aggravate the pressure they are feeling inside, and with a jam-packed stadium all rooting for Argentina, the pressure indeed got to Coman, and so unsurprisingly, Martinez made the save. Immediately after that, he proceeded to celebrate wildly in front of his fans, thereby bringing them more life, and so the atmosphere was all Argentina. This was especially great because it instilled more confidence onto the next penalty taker for Argentina, who happened to be Paulo Dybala. Next was Tchouaméni. This was where the fun began for Martinez. Knowing that Tchouaméni has never been on such a big stage in his career, mostly due to his age, Martinez decided to take full advantage of this. He stated after the match that he knew Tchouaméni was nervous after just witnessing Coman miss his penalty, and so in an effort to increase the pressure on the youngster, he first took the ball away and was having a walk with it, all while Tchouaméni was waiting for him, and instead of giving it back, he decided to throw it away in order to make him go and get it. This ties with what I said earlier, that the pressure was slowly building up inside of him, and this time, with the Argentine fans getting more and more hyped, Tchouaméni stood face to face with Martinez seconds later and then proceeded to fire his penalty wide. One key thing to note here was that again Martinez went the right way, meaning even if Tchouaméni kept his shot on target, there was nearly every chance that he could have saved it. The next penalty taker stepped up to take his, and Martinez was seen immediately picking up the ball and giving it to his teammate by hand in order to prevent Lloris from trying to do something similar. After business was taken care of, up came Kolo Muani. Martinez went straight to work as we all saw him saying something to the youngster as a referee was trying to restrain him, which was later revealed that he was telling Muani that he's watched him. Again, another attempt to try to throw him off, but Muani had nerves of steel as he made sure to dispatch his penalties successfully. Martinez finally received a yellow card for all of his troubles, but in all fairness, the job was already done. All that was left was for Montiel to score his penalty, which he did, making Argentina world champions. During the celebrations, he went over to try to console a visibly dejected Kylian Mbappe, only if Mbappe knew at that moment what was to come. Martinez, Messi, Mbappe and Enzo Fernandez were all presented their respective awards, and after receiving his, Martinez did this, and well,
I mean, the thing with the Golden Glove, that was ridiculous.
I think what he did with the trophy afterwards was ridiculous.
It was ridiculous.
the media went absolutely bonkers, with Graham Souness talking about how he embarrassed himself. It was just criticism at every level imaginable. While many people dismissed this as saying it was just in the moment, well, days after, this clip surfaced of Martinez holding a doll with Mbappe's face on it. This caused yet another controversy on its own. Now, You will always have the odd football fans that would go overboard, like some Argentines who actually plastered Mbappe's face onto a surface and proceeded to burn it. Many people were of the opinion that it was incredibly unprofessional for Martinez to unnecessarily troll a man who scored past him 4 times during the match. Now, when Martinez spoke on the gesture with his golden glove, according to the New York Post, he said he did it because he was being booed by the French. The Kylian Mbappe incident was because of something the Frenchman said prior to the World Cup.
Well, Kylian Mbappe before the tournament said South Americans stood a lesser chance than the Europeans because the competition isn't as strong. And this was kind of Emiliano Martinez's response to that in defending South American countries.
Mbappe certainly came out the bigger man with his recent comments on the incident.
Et les célébrations, c'est pas mon problème. Je perds pas d'énergie dans des choses aussi futiles.
Now, while Martinez did it to spite the people who were previously talking down on him, he certainly made many enemies in France, as 2018 World Cup winner with France Adio Rami labeled him the most hated man in France, along with calling him some unfriendly names. He posted successive rants on his Instagram account about Martinez, saying that the Moroccan goalkeeper Bono deserved the award and not him. This quickly prompted a response from Martinez's own teammate Angel Di Maria, and a feud which was initially about Martinez gradually became a troll fest until it began getting personal, with Di Maria's wife intervening and taking a shot at Rami on his previous relationship. Now, did Martinez go too far and does he deserve the hate? Well, you're all welcome to argue that out in the comments.